Good day, everyone. I am Princess Diane Q. Grenshaw, presenting to you an abstract analysis for our subject, Children and Adolescent Literature. This study is entitled Impact of Children's Literature on Family Structures and Children's Perception of Family. Abstract. This study asks, what is the impact of children's literature on children's perception of family structures? Literature teaches young children a great deal about the world in which they live in. Therefore, literature plays a large role in children's perception of others. This study uses triangulation with three forms of qualitative data collected by children's drawings of families, interviews, questionnaires, and discussions. The study found that young children can understand differences of others. Teachers hold a great deal of responsibility for shaping the minds of the future, and literature has a large impact on how children learn about others and perceive the world they live in. Chapter 1 Introduction. As children continues to play and learn throughout school, they explore worlds that are alike or unlike their own. Children come to school with preconceived notions about different topics. Many of these topics are not addressed in school and lead children to grow into adults who can be stereotypical and prejudiced, which can hinder the growth of society throughout future generations. This was according to Fitzpatrick and Christina Ricci in 2013. But according to Matex and Crawford 2011, children are able to use literature as a tool, as they believe that books makes a difference in driving out prejudices and creating a community. Books, for them, act as a mirror for young children to see into their own world and cultures, and also as a window to learn about others' worlds and cultures as well. Statement of the problem. This study investigates how children's literature influenced young children's perceptions of family structures. It aims to understand how literature shapes children's views about different types of families, including those that deviate from traditional norms. Specifically, it sought to answer the following objectives. Number 1. How does children's literature impact children's perceptions of family structures? Number 2. What themes emerged in children's understanding of families after exposure to multicultural literature? And lastly, number 3, can literature help children develop more inclusive attitudes towards different family types? View of related literature. This chapter presents the literature and studies after the researchers' in-depth search. In the following literature review, three themes will be shown and studied. The number one theme is the heteronormative dominance in literature. It states here that the stereotypical and heteronormative literature that is used with most children presents society's overt and covert values that explains and justify which behaviors and beliefs are appropriate. This is according to both Hopkins and Waklatsi in 2008. Children soak up this information, perpetuating the norms of society and further alienating those who do not fit into the norm for one reason or another. The second theme is about multicultural literature used in the classroom. Teachers can no longer assume that the children in their classroom share aspects of their backgrounds, including race, ethnicity, language, and family structures. A teacher's use of multicultural literature is a springboard for improving the appreciation of diversity, amongst other things. This is according to Sun 2014. The more frequently teachers use literature that serves as mirrors for children into their own world, the better attitudes, beliefs, and values children will have. It is not enough to incorporate culturally specific literature that reflects children and their family into daily reading routines. And this is according to Brinson 2012. Just simply reading multicultural literature to children and not having discussions about the stories does not help improve children's thinking and learning about diverse topics. Conversations that teachers have with their students can be influential and meaningful. The third theme is about the impacts of multicultural literature on children. According to both Hopkins and Waklatsi 2008, they state that the power of literature in the lives of young children is awesome and far-reaching. This line emphasizes the large demands of using literature that is appropriate and honest with children. Literature can teach children many things about society, how to behave, what to think, but it also teaches children about themselves, which impacts who they grow up to be. Research shows that with the use of picture books, young children are able to understand differences and families from multiple and diverse perspectives. Young children are not too young to discuss diversity with. Children are able to notice similarities and differences from very early on in life, and it is important to take advantage of their young age and ignorance in order to teach children acceptance and support for all people. Now let's move on to our Chapter 2 method, the research design. This research employs a qualitative design using triangulation to collect data through children's drawings of families, interviews, questionnaires, and discussions. For our research locale, this study is conducted in a primary school located in upstate New York, encompassing kindergarten through second grade. The school is selected due to its diverse student population and the presence of varied family structures among the students. Chapter 3 Result. The findings from this study were drawn from data, which includes informal interviews, questionnaires, read aloud, and student work samples. First theme is that children use their background knowledge to construct ideas of family. According to Figure 1, an illustration of a family made by Jasmine of herself and her teacher, this could represent the feelings of closeness between teachers and students. Many students and teachers develop relationships that are long lasting and loving. Jasmine may have related the feelings she feels towards her families and understood the similar feelings she has towards her teacher, and thought of the teacher as a family member based on the closeness and positive feelings she felt. While Figure 2, an illustration of a family by Grady of his dad, Grady's initial thoughts of family revolved around his dad. To him, his dad is most likely the central piece of their home, and his strong sense of family comes from his father. Grady has most likely many personal experiences with his father, which led him to draw his father alone, as his father may be his best or only family member and a large role model. The responses shows that students use their background knowledge and the people who make up their families in order to respond. Some students replied with an answer that was already given, but others thought of the people in their family and assumed those were the ones that are part of a family. It also shows that using picture books that establish multiple parent roles, like two moms or two dads, can help children to be more open to a non-traditional families and can have a more positive attitude towards non-traditional families. Students would be able to go beyond thinking of their own family and think of others' families as well. Not only would children or students have knowledge of other families, but they would also be capable of being positive towards those structures with the use of literature. The result of the study also shows the theme of a family is love. In figure 4, an illustration of a family made by Ken of himself, his brother, sister, mom, dad, Mikey, Matt, Malaki, Uncle Michael, Auntie Janice, Auntie Caris, and other aunts, uncles, and cousins, while Sheila, her mother, describes a family as many different types of people whom they are close to. She also represents that close friends are considered family, most likely on the basis of closeness and feelings of love. The same can be said for other family members that are related or married into the family. They share the feelings of love for one another. Therefore, from this data alone, we can understand that the theme shows that a family is any people who feel love and happiness together. Being that they are children and their experiences are that a family must have a parent, their understanding of this concept is not fully developed because they are not fully aware of life's courses. Through the readings of this literature, children commented with an understanding that a heart is what families share. This shows that children are interpreting the story's themes that love is a part of a family and either connecting that their family have it too or comprehending that it is the feelings people have for each other which makes them family. Lastly, the theme of people who are included as part of a family. In Figure 5, illustrations of a family by Ken show similarities to his previous drawings. while in figure 6, illustrations of a family made by Barbie of herself, her two brothers, her mom, dad, and dog. Barbie's drawing shows that she believes that the dog is part of the family and can be treated more as a person rather than an animal. This theme shows that although children draw their own family, they also include other people and animals as well that are outside their circle or aren't related to them at all because they felt that they are close enough or they have formed a loving relationship with that person and they consider that person as a family. Chapter 4 Discussion. The following conclusions were made based on the preceding data and information gathered. This study looked to determine if using multicultural literature would have any bearing on children's perception of family structures. Kindergartens have vast knowledge of their personal lives and little knowledge of the world. Teachers in the primary grades are partly responsible for shaping the young minds to help them in becoming adults who are responsible, caring, and accepting of others. The importance of this study shows that teachers need to be more attentive to students' family dynamics at a young age because of how those differences of personal experiences play out in the classroom. As children's families often come up in classroom discussions through the literature that is read and lesson topics, when children share these stories of their families, it is important that their personal experiences are affirmed and not displayed as wrong. If the literature that a teacher reads is consistently about the stereotypes and the heteronormative culture in our society, then the children whose lives are different will not find comfort and knowledge in the daily lessons or the teacher. The study showed that children have the ability to understand differences and to respect them. At a young age, children are able to add to their schema without prejudice, which needs to be taken advantage of to help develop lifelong readers and tolerable adults. And now that it is done, let's proceed to the abstract analysis of the research. So, the study explores or explains how children's literature can affect the way children perceive their own or others' family structures and how they are able to form their own ideas of what family is. Literature has always been transformative and can be used as a tool to help shape children's view of the world and family from an early age. The introduction of the study tells us that children from an early age can already understand what is perceived as normal in the society, but many children already have their own ideas and opinions. So, when a child observes that their own idea of family is not addressed or aren't seen in the school or in the classroom, it may result to them feeling excluded and that may hinder their development. In the review of related literature, it discusses how exposing children to a variety or diverse literature can impact their perceptions. It shows how, if children's literature shows diverse and non-traditional family structure, it can promote understanding and acceptance among children. However, if children are exposed to literature that depicts stereotypes and heteronormativity, it can cause a negative impact on the child's confidence and it may result in them being biased as they grow older. Because of this, the study also put emphasis on the significant roles of the teacher in the process of selecting and using a variety of literature that reflects a variety of family structures when teaching children inside the classroom. Through doing this, they are able to create a more inclusive classroom environment that fosters respect, acceptance, and acknowledges everyone's backgrounds. Overall, the study demonstrated how powerful children's literature can be, and overall, the study demonstrated how powerful children's literature can be in transforming and shaping young readers' minds. The importance of educators in selecting and discussing a wide range of diverse literature and promoting inclusivity and acceptance within children through exposing them to different family structures.